Hey friends, it's Life Coach Rich, and so today I'm talking about I'm finishing 3 weeks of being on a keto meal plan. Um, and so when I first, I'm just going to describe the 3 weeks. Okay, so if you're thinking about a keto, going on a keto meal plan, it's the point of doing it is to reduce your carbs so that you're gaining insulin sensitivity, and then you're prioritizing protein and fat and restricting your carbohydrate intake, and I'm restricting it down to 50 or below. So it's not a strict. It's not so strict that I'm only bringing it down to like 10 or something or zero. That would be a carnivore. And so, but I am trying to keep my insulin low. Probably this last or a little over a month, that I amped up to the 2.5 cups of vegetables, half a cup of broccoli, 1 cup of spinach, and then 1 cup of kale. Kale, like some people like kale. Kale tastes terrible. Spinach doesn't even taste that great to me unless you lather it in ranch dressing, which is not good because of seed oils that we need to stop eating. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I could try to put just a little bit of vinegar and olive oil, extra virgin olive oil on it, and I've done that for some romaine, but it's still just not that enjoyable. Okay, so it's just easy to chop it up in this little thing and then drink it down. And so doing that shake that has gotten me. It gets me to about 34 carbs in the stuff that I put in with the vegetables and fruit and stuff, and avocado. So it gets me about 34 carbs. So that's most of my carbs for the day. I've been on a keto meal plan now for 3 weeks. And I've maintained that 50 carbs or under. Well, the first couple of days I was at like 54 carbs and then 52 carbs, and then after that, then I've been under 50 for the rest of the time. And so usually I end up at around 40 carbs for the day. And so I'm prioritizing my fats and I'm prioritizing my proteins. And you want to get a good bit of fat in your diet. So you're okay to eat the stuff like bacon. You're okay to eat eggs. You're okay to eat butter. You want to do that kind of stuff. Make some scrambled eggs and then put a couple of tablespoons of butter in there so that you can get your fat content up. In my shake, I put in 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm eating a full avocado. And so that's some great mono unsaturated, polyunsaturated fats that you're getting in because you're using those natural fats and stuff. So very healthy for you. Also, you're getting greens in. But that meal plan that I've been on, I'll just tell you just a brief summary. The first week, okay, so I just kind of went into it. We had gone on a national basketball trip up to Missouri, and then I was like, okay, we're out of our norm. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. The day before, on a Sunday, so I started on a Monday. So the day before, I had less carbs, but I still had probably I ate a couple pieces of pizza. But other than that, I'd been eating just meat. So I probably had about 200 carbs that day because I reduced the amount of carbs I was just eating. I was like, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to start on Monday. So the day before, I reduced it to about 200, and then the next day, then I reduced it down to the 54, I think, and then the next day 52. So that was on Tuesday. So the first couple of days, I kind of just went into it, and I sort of sustained on the BBBE, which is great. So remember, it is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Okay, so the BBBE. And so that was the staples of what I was eating. Get to day 3, okay? I didn't prioritize my electrolytes like maybe I should have, and because you're switching over trying to make your body from burning carbs. I finally ran out of carbs. Day 3, then I had the keto flu, and man, I'm telling you, I felt zapped all day. I felt zapped, kind of in a little bit of a fog, and just kind of tired all day on Wednesday, and that's in response to I should have bumped up my electrolytes and salt and stuff, and I didn't do that appropriately. So I started prioritizing salt and a little bit more electrolytes and stuff after that. So throughout the rest of the week, my body was finally switched over to starting to burn fat instead of carbs, and so it was just different. It felt different, but I was feeling better increasingly every day. The second week, and I also exercised. I ran and exercised twice that week. So on Tuesday, I exercised, I lifted, and also ran a mile, and then Wednesday, boom, hit me. So that was a little rough. And then on Friday, I took a couple of days there, continued, and then on it was Friday, then I was able to exercise again. So that was good. I started getting my strength back. The second week, because that was the first week. Boom, first week accomplished it, great. Second week, I chose specifically not to exercise or anything. I was reading different stuff and listening to people, and then so some people don't exercise or do anything for the first full month if they're switching to a keto or carnivore diet or something. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. Let me just take this week off. So I was still, I didn't feel. It felt like my body was getting used to it, okay? Getting used to burning consistently, trying to burn the fat instead of the carbs. And so I just let my body get used to it. The rest of that week, second week, went pretty well. I started trying to get some more variety, a little bit more variety in what I was eating, trying to mix some things up or whatever. But second week went pretty good. Third week, we're at the end of the third week. Then I'm telling you that I've been told that the third week, and somebody said, the third week, you got to wait till the third week. It's just sort of, you really turn a corner. It's just great. You just turn a corner the third week. I was like, really? Like, what do you mean turn a corner? So, I haven't necessarily seen a turn the corner in my mental clarity. I mean, yeah, seems like it's pretty clear. But I didn't turn a corner in that or something. Like, I did probably take longer for for the ketones. It's supposed to be healing to your body. It's supposed to be healing to your brain, especially. And I think that that's what I'm looking for, is to help heal my brain a little bit. I have seen in the last couple of years, because of my massive soda drinking for 20, 25 years, and just not eating great, I think it has affected me just a little bit mentally. Sometimes putting sentences together, just the words don't get jumbled up a little bit, and it's just not as clear as I used to be. And so I don't know if that's just age, because I'm 55 now, or if that's just because I've damaged it because of all the soda and sugar and stuff before. So I'm looking forward to the ketones helping, trying to clear my brain a little bit and heal my brain a little. Um, and so anyway, the third week, I will tell you that the third week, I felt great this week. The third week, I have lifted 3 times all the week, and I've run twice during this week. So I've been to the gym almost every day. And then I was wondering, if I had full strength. The first week, whenever I lifted and stuff, I still had good strength, but it just wasn't like, it was just like, oh man, I just had to keep kind of pushing myself for the workout. In this week, then I've had full strength, and I actually pushed more in my workouts, and I had plenty of energy. And I purposely pushed myself harder in the workouts to see how my body would respond, and it's been fine. I've still maintained under 50 carbs per day for the third week here, and I'm going to continue it. So this is a summary of the first 3 weeks, and I'll continue to do it. My wife has been great. She's made a couple of, because she wanted to do some stuff like this too, like keto. So she's found several recipes that she's made this week that were outstanding keto recipes that really were great, and I really appreciate that. It already had I was tracking. Oh, that's something else. I was tracking everything in Chronometer. It's free, and you're able to track it. It even had the great thing about Chronometer is it even has a little barcode thing to track stuff. Like you can scan a barcode on a thing of eggs, or you can scan a barcode on, I put a few baby carrots in my, that's something that I put in my vegetable shake thing. And I put 4 baby carrots in there. So I scan the barcode on the baby carrots and then put 4, boom. And it just comes right up with putting it there. And you can, note it as a favorite so you can find it each time. Or you can just copy, once you put the stuff in and have the amounts, then you can copy them from previous day to today, or 3 days ago. You can select them in the multi-select and then copy them to today for a meal. And so it helps you really track what all that you're getting. Otherwise, you're kind of just guessing. So I really suggest that you track it. And it's been very helpful to track it on, these 3 weeks. And I didn't, now I've got kind of some routine meals that I usually eat, and so I know that it's going to keep me under the amount of carbs that I need. So that's great. But I also need to track it, just so that I make sure I eat enough, right? Because I'm tracking it to 2,400 calories, and so when I exercise, I can put the exercises in there, and then it takes a little bit off, as far as the exercise, that the calories that I burned. And so you can kind of, you don't want to be here. You're eating here at 1,500 calories, but you need this many. You don't want to do it that way. You want to get real close to what you need for that day, related to your activity. And Chronometer has been really helpful, real easy way to track it, so that you can see what you need to eat by that last meal. This last week, I've implemented intermittent fasting on it. So I'm trying to do the intermittent fasting where it's a 15 and 9, and then I started to do that sort of 15 hours. So I eat, the last time that I eat was like 6 p.m. And then so I don't eat again until the next morning at 9 a.m. And then I've slowly extended that to 16 and 8 now. So now I have coffee in the morning, 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then I don't eat until about 10. And then in that 8-hour window between 8 and 6, then that's working for me. Or maybe it's 10:30 to 6:30, something like that. Then that's what I've implemented this last week, and that's been helpful as well, to help a little bit of my belly fat. I'm trying to get rid of the visceral fat that I had, and then a little bit of belly fat, love handles and stuff. And so that's been helpful. It's been an easy, because of taking the shake and stuff as one of my meals, and I usually did that in the mornings. Now I switched it, and I do it in the afternoon, after lunch or so, prioritizing my fat. I think my goal for the fat is it was close to 200, 185, 200 grams of fat, and I usually get close to that. And then I get plenty of protein's easy for me. I like meat, so protein's easy for me. I usually end up with, I don't know, 100, 150 grams of protein for the day. Somewhere, it depends on what meats that I eat, and then how many eggs and stuff. Sometimes I eat 4 eggs with bacon. And so anyway, that's been going well. I can talk more about the stuff that I've eaten and where I'm at, but it's gone really well. And I would suggest that, if you want to do the keto meal plan, just make sure that you just prepare, okay, a little bit. Get you some electrolytes. Prioritize those with like Element package. I didn't have those. I finally ordered some, but don't even have them yet. But I prioritized getting more salt and taking magnesium and potassium on my own. And that's one of the videos I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna tell you what you can do, kind of make your own little Element packet, or get the supplements that you're getting in an Element packet, because I just ordered them the other day. They're a little pricey for me. I mean, honestly, So I'm not going to keep spending that much money for a little element packet when I can take some supplements and get the same thing. Um, and so anyway, that's where we're at for right now. Thanks for watching. I want to encourage you, if you're trying to make some health choice changes, please, I encourage you to do that. Little steps. Don't be discouraged. You don't have to figure it all out. Just pick something that you want to start today. Just pick something that you want to start and go for it. And one little step at a time is going to get you further than you just waiting, well, until I have it all figured out. And then all of a sudden 6 months go by and you haven't done anything. When you could have taken small little bitty steps, and it's okay. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You just think about some health choices, differences you want to make for yourself, and you start it today, and you can do it. I know you can, because that's what I've done. I've made little health choices, and little by little, and I started out just walking a half a mile. And that's great, because I couldn't really jog that much. And I was like, okay, let me just jog a quarter of a mile. And I finally, I could jog a quarter of a mile. Let's try to jog a half a mile. I jogged half a mile, and then did that for a while. And then I worked up to 3/4 of a mile. So just make those little choices. And I'm much further down the road than I was 6 months ago, because I started taking little steps. And that's what you got to do. And you got to do it, because we're getting sicker, and we're getting more overweight, and we're addicted to too much sugar. And all of that sugar is just making the food companies rich and the hospitals rich by spiking our blood pressure and giving us certain medications to try to control stuff. And all we got to do is just eat healthy foods, more whole foods, whole as in, not some multi-layer kind of lasagna or something like that. That's not a whole food. I'm talking about single whole foods and vegetables. Eat one of the a surgeon guy he said, eat the things that grow from the earth, and then eat the things that grow in the earth. So prioritize some meat and vegetables. And that's going to be, and if you can't eat them like me, like I just don't really enjoy them, drink them. I'll share the little shake that I came up with. It's awesome. I think you'll like it. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.